Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie.
Let's do it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today, I have with me author. I don't know if I should say author and Jew. I will tell
say
you.
Author and Jew. That's all.
There
good.
we go. Jewish author.
It's not like I hide the fact, you know.
I will tell you this. When I hear other people say Jew, even when I say it, it always sounds derogatory. Jew, he's a Jew, I don't like it. Anyway, we have with us today author Yehuda Remer, and we are driving around in Dallas, and we are going to talk with Yehuda about the book that he wrote and how he got to become a gun owner and how it wasn't kosher with his family. Sound like a plan?
It's a good way to put it.
All right, so we are actually finishing up at the Gun Rights Policy Conference in Dallas, Texas, and let's go for a ride.
Shotgun with Charlie.
All right, so Yehuda is, you're relatively new to the gun stuff, aren't you?
I am.
Like just a few years into this?
Not even
A few years into it. Wow, and you jumped in.
Well, by gun stuff, do you mean the Second Amendment, or do you mean like getting into guns?
I'm going to say getting into guns.
So that's been about 10 years.
It's about 10 years.
I've
Okay.
been into firearms for 10 plus years, give or take.
Cool, and it wasn't accepted. Can we go straight? Yeah, we can go straight.
Yeah, stay straight.
You had a hard time with it. Tell us how you started. I know a little bit of your backstory.
Well, I'd gone shooting a bunch of times before, but I never thought that a civilian can own a firearm. To me, growing up in an apolitical family in Los Angeles, the only people that I thought were really allowed to carry or own a firearm were law enforcement, military, and criminals. So, I never actually thought that someone, just a normal person, can carry a firearm or own a firearm for any kind of purposes. I took, a good friend of mine took me shooting one day, and I'm like, dude, where'd you get all these guns from? He's like, they're mine. I'm like, are you breaking the law? And he's like,
right.
Are you an idiot? I'm like, I guess. And then, I started learning about the country, the Constitution, the Second Amendment. And before I knew it, I took another buddy of mine who was in the LAPD, took me shooting.
Wow.
And I got a bug. And I don't want to say obsessed, but I just fell in love with firearms and the Second Amendment and what it meant and how it helps us as Americans, and never looked back.
Very cool. I found it by accident is how I got into it. So it's for me, it's a lot of fun. The first time I went shooting, I was like, oh my gosh, this is cool. Do other people know about this?
It's always interesting to take newbies shooting. A lot of times they'll shoot one shot and they're like, oh hell no, this is not for me.
Right.
Like, I just don't want to have anything to deal with it. Other times they're like, they can't put it down. They're like, can we go buy like 300 more rounds? I'm like, dude, you can go buy 300 more rounds. I'm not spending that money right now. But it really depends. So, but most of the time, people like it.
Yeah, I found that too. Even people that are non-gun people, when you take them shooting, you start them with a 22. There's not a lot of bang. It's easy to shoot. It's easy to get people going that way, which is cool. So, a lot of your story before you wrote your book is I don't want to say your struggle with gun ownership, but what you had to face with your parents not being into it and not necessarily accepting it.
Well, a lot of Jews get a bad rep for
everything.
For everything. It's always our fault.
Right.
But no, they get a bad rep for when it comes to firearms, and a lot of times it's well deserved. I mean, look at some of the biggest gun grabbers in Congress and Senate and U.S. government, you have Dianne Feinstein, Bloomberg, Emanuel, all these people who are rabidly anti-gun happen to have Jewish roots. With that in mind, with all these politicians giving Jews a bad name in terms of guns, it's a Jewish mentality. A lot of Jews just don't want to have anything to deal with guns. A lot of them are anti-gun. Some of them just aren't necessarily anti-gun. They just don't want to have anything to do with guns.
Right.
And I purchased my first gun. It was a Glock. And I was able to keep it from my parents for about 6 months. I wasn't disrespecting them. I was out of the house. I was married with 2 kids already.
You're an adult.
I'm an adult, and
you get your own family.
What I thought was a responsible adult, but my younger brother, who ruins nearly everything, because don't all younger brothers do. I mean, I love him dearly, but he comes in one day. He's like, "Yo, brother, yo, Yehuda, what kind of gun do you have? You have a Glock, right? Can I go shooting with you?" And my parents just draw a hip to grab.
I mean, no kidding.
They were just like, "Wait, you have a gun?" I'm like, "No."
What's the right answer?
Yeah, I was like, "No," and they're like, "No, really? Do you have a gun?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And they started hounding me and just how irresponsible I am. You have 2 children. How can you own a firearm? And I was just like, what? I'm like, I'm responsible enough to get married and have kids, but I'm not responsible enough to own a tool.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that led me to one of the main reasons led me to write my book. I wanted to kind of, I hate to say shut my parents up, but let's call it ease their paranoia.
Sure.
And I set out to write a book because I wanted to be able to read a book to my child and teach them proper gun safety, and there was nothing like it on the market.
Very strategic.
I felt there was a void that needed to be filled. There's a lot of great organizations out there that do teach gun safety, but there is nothing like my book on the market.
Nothing. And even the NRA stuff, the Eddie Eagle program for kids, tells kids if they find a gun, they should stop, don't touch it, leave the area until an adult.
Yeah, and that's really all they have. I mean,
right. And it's good to obviously teach your kids that, but eventually it gets to the point where, okay, they're in your house, they find a gun in your house, or they see that you're shooting, or you say you're going shooting, and they can get some curiosity, want to know what you're doing, what's going on.
That's exactly what it is. When you take the cool factor out of the equation, that guns are not cool, all they are tools, then children become a lot more understanding of firearms, and they begin to have a healthy respect of what they are, what they can do. And my book touches on all that.
That's awesome. Yeah, your book is great. It really is. So tell us a little bit more about the book. It's, I've read the book. I've got a copy of it, but it's from the kid's perspective. I mean, it really truly is a kid's book on guns.
No, I did that on purpose. No child likes to have a parent yell at them or preach to them. So what better way to learn about something than have another child talk to you about it? It's a lot more relatable. So my book is told through the eyes of a little boy, and he himself is talking to the reader. So a child will just feel a lot more comfortable. Because they're not being yelled at or preached to by an adult.
Very cool. That's an awesome concept. It really is. And you got a color book version?
I did. Yes, I converted it to a coloring book, which is also available on Amazon.
Cool.
And I did that because you can read the book to your child, or your child can read it to themselves, depending on how old they are. And then it allows them to take one more step in the educational process by really immersing themselves into the story. It gives them the ability to actually sit on one page for, depending if they draw on the lines or not, but color in the lines, it gives them the ability to sit on a page and look at it and really memorize that page, because they're the ones creating it, and it just ingrains in their memory a lot better.
That's way cool. Way cool. So what other kind of blasters do you have? You started off with a Glock?
Started off with a Glock 19.
Everyone's got a Glock 19.
Everyone has a Glock 19. Look, you know, there's a reason for that.
Right?
They're phenomenal guns. So I started off with a Glock 19, and actually, is that truck coming towards us?
I thought the same thing.
You gotta cut that one into the video.
Right.
Yeah, no, I have a Glock 19, and after my Glock 19, I bought a Colt AR. And
wow.
I love it. I took off all the hardware and I put on all, you know, new stock and new trigger and everything, and the thing is just amazing and it's awesome. After that came my Benelli shotgun.
Cool.
Yeah, everyone goes for the Mossberg, which is a great gun, or the Remington, which is also a great gun, but for some reason I just fell in love with the Benellis. They're tactical, the Supernova version, and you know, I splurged, bought it.
Yeah. It's a Benelli.
Yeah, right, exactly. But that was in California.
Is it hard to get? Let me ask you this: I'm not a California guy. Is it hard to get a gun in California? Like you grew up in LA, and was obviously not gun-friendly territory.
No, it's not hard to get a handgun. You actually have to get a license to own a handgun.
Okay.
So you got to take a 30-question multiple choice test. If you can't pass it, you don't deserve to own a handgun, because it really is common sense.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you can't pass a common sense multiple choice test, don't.
What kind of stuff? Like common sense, like it's not. You know, what's the difference between a 22 and a 45?
No, it's not like that. Just like, where should you never point the gun? A, at a person. B, at the floor. I mean, just like just dumb questions. So, you know, that's to get a handgun. To get a long gun or a shotgun, you don't need a license. But in California, you do have a 10-day waiting period, which totally sucks. And the reason is, you know, they have the cool down period.
Right.
Because obviously, if I'm buying a gun, I'm using it to kill somebody.
Well, of course, that's what it's for.
Exactly. So, but the genius of that is, it's every time you buy a gun, you have to wait 10 days. So,
one of the guys that I listen to, that's complete ridiculousness. Yeah. First time, sure. If I've got 7 guns and I want to go buy another one and I have to wait 10 more days, and let's say I'm pissed off at somebody, if I've got to wait 10 more days, I've got 7 other guns at home that I could shoot somebody with.
Yeah, exactly.
It's completely ridiculous.
And that's why it's just absolutely absurd.
I think it's interesting that when people talk about, like I have friends that are, you know, well, you should have a background check every time you buy a gun. Okay, I get you. I have, in Massachusetts, in order to get a gun license, you have to go through 2 background checks. And all the stuff wherever they check stuff out, you go through 2 background checks. The local police do it, they send it to the state police do a background check. So, if I'm going to sell a gun to you, if you're a mass guy and I'm a mass guy, if I'm going to sell a gun to you, then I've got to, you've got a gun license, you've passed 2 background checks. And when I talk to my non-gun friends, they're like, well, that person could have committed a crime. And I always like to say, do you have a gun license? No. Okay. Have you passed any background checks? No. You might have committed a crime too.
Exactly.
Like, you should be bad because you haven't passed a background check. I go through the background check every 6 years when I have to get a gun license.
Yeah, and it's actually funny, like, transitioning into that when I moved to Texas 3 years ago. So I decided I got my license to carry. Mm-hmm. And when I moved to Texas 3 years ago, I got my license to carry. And after I got the license, I went to the store and, you know, I'm like, okay, I want to get the Glock 43 as a carry gun. And, you know, I buy the gun, and the guy walks me to the front of the store. He goes, oh, here's your gun. I'm like, wait, what do you mean here's my gun? I don't have to come back in 10 days for the gun? He's like, dude, you live in America.
You live in free America.
You live in free America. And it was great. I just walked out with a firearm.
Wow.
Right there, right then, and it was just awesome.
That is cool.
It was just such a... And of course, I texted all my friends saying, haha, suckers. That was a lot of fun.
That's great.
But truthfully, I mean, I'll take it one step further. It's a different life there. You know, I went to when I moved to Texas, I took my AR-15 to a gunsmith. He goes, "What can I do for your AR?" I'm like, "Oh, you know, I'm from California." He goes, "Okay, let's get rid of the bullet button." Like, I didn't even have to tell him that's what I wanted. He knew.
Right.
And then I walked to the front of the store. I'm like, "Hey, you know, I just got a bullet button taken out of my AR-15, and I was curious.
What exit are we taking?
428C.
428C,
It's
okay.
Commerce
next
in
one.
a quarter mile, a
Gotcha.
3/4 mile. So I went to the, after that I went to the front of the store, and I said, oh, you know, I just got my AR-15, got the bullet button taken down. I'm from Los Angeles. I just moved here a few weeks ago. In California, you can only have magazines no larger than 10 rounds.
Right.
So it's like, where can I, you know, where are your 30-round mags? I would love to buy a bunch. He goes, we have 30-round mags, but can we offer you a 60-round drum?
Oh.
And I was just like, oh my God, I love Texas.
Yes.
I was like, of course, I couldn't afford it. But I was just like,
Right.
I quickly texted all my friends again. I was like, you guys truly suck. Like, you know, you guys just totally suck. So,
oh my gosh.
yeah, it was pretty awesome to rub it into them, and I still do. I'll go to a range and, you know, like 30 rounds, and I film it and then send it to them saying, guys, that's 30 rounds.
This is freedom, baby.
Or I have a good friend of mine in New Jersey who every time he comes here, you can't have a retractable stock.
Right.
And so every time he comes here, we go shooting, and he literally just goes, breaking the law, and he keeps like retracting the stock on mine to make it shorter and longer. And I was
Oh my
like, dude, you
gosh.
got to get a life. So here we are,
This is it. Here we
This is
are in
it.
downtown Dallas, baby.
downtown Dallas. To the left is where JFK got shot, right over there.
Oh my gosh.
That's that
the
building
school
right there.
book depository.
Yep, right there.
Wow.
So we're there.
Here we are. This is like gun history. It's great to be at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and
So I would say, am I the first interviewee that you've actually taken to a historical site about firearms?
yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
sweet. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'll take it.
I'm the one that's honored. Yeah, in Massachusetts you can't have. This is so stupid. We have the 5 evil features of the pistol, of the NAR: the pistol grip, collapsible stock, flash hider, bayonet lug, and a grenade launcher. You can only have one evil feature, and it's a modern sporting rifle. And if you change that, then you can have one. It doesn't matter which one it is. You just can have one.
Yeah.
All right, so here we are. Look at this. All right, this is crazy talk. Here we are. We are.
That building right to the front, to the left.
To the left is the school book depository.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
There's the grassy knoll right there in the left.
Oh, we're gonna go up here.
We're
and
gonna go up here and make a left. Yeah.
We
And
are
you're
taking
gonna
the exact.
You're
route.
gonna see on the street
There's a big X.
a few X's. I think
Wow.
2 because he was shot twice, something like that. So you'll see.
a couple of X's.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is way cool. I absolutely love the JFK assassination stuff. I will watch, and we're gonna take the stoplight here. I will watch the any show on it every single time it's on. Every single time it's on. I'm bowled over by it.
Yeah, and you can
There's-
see there
There's like a box
up there. Yeah, there's actually a museum. You
Yeah.
can't go to the window.
Gotcha.
It's blocked off, and they have a replica of the gun that he used.
right that he got in the
but-
mail.
Yeah, but you know, like I said, there's the grassy knoll right over
There's
there.
the grassy knoll. Holy
And,
moly!
Yeah,
We are gonna see the grassy knoll. Woo-hoo. This, I gotta tell you, man, when I had the idea for writing Shotgun with Charlie, and you're just like, I don't want to seem like I'm a rookie at all the cool gun world that we're into, but I've only been doing it for a year.
I've been doing it for 10 months, so,
So
you're a
it's-
veteran.
When I started the writing Shotgun with Charlie idea, I literally had no idea what it would do and where it
If
would
you
lead
stay
to me.
in the middle.
Yeah.
You'll.
Should we go at 11 miles an hour? We are at 11 miles an hour.
There's one X right here.
Yep.
There's one right, and then you'll see.
And
right
this guy
there.
was just standing on
Yeah,
one.
where is it?
Here we
There,
are,
and that's
11 miles an hour.
and here's
There's the grassy
to the
knoll.
left. Yeah.
Oh my God. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And we are going under the bridge. That was cool, man.
Yeah,
that
right?
was so cool. All right, how do we get back?
35E north.
35E North. Awesome. What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
Grassy knoll.
The grassy knoll,
conspiracies.
I watch it every single time. I totally dig it. There's times when I want to believe that that he did it on his own. There's times when I'm like, there's no way. I saw one show where they actually talked about there was a driver in the car in front of him that had an AR, and he went. I guess when after the first shot was fired, he started to climb over someone, had his finger on the trigger, and that was the shot that made JFK go backwards, which I thought was really interesting. Like, I'll watch every show, and you know what's really interesting? This is what's totally cool. So we just drove from Dealey Plaza. Trump just came out and said he's letting. I guess he's taking all the JFK files and letting them out.
Did he really?
That's what I heard.
Interesting.
We've been at the GRPC for 2 days, so we've been all wrapped up in our own little gun world. You had
I had my holiday yesterday, so
yep. So you weren't there, but obviously you were tied up, and yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah,
I'll watch it every time, man.
I'll be honest. JFK stuff never really did anything for me.
No, it's because he's Catholic.
What do you call a Jew hating a Catholic? I don't know. I'm saying, like, it's not like you can't say I'm anti-Semitic, but no, I truth matters. I just, if anything really interested me about JFK, it would be the whole Cuban Missile Crisis. I think 13 Days was an absolutely phenomenal movie. I don't know how necessarily accurate it was,
right?
But I love that movie. So that's something that, within the JFK realm world. Yeah. I'm a big history guy, so I really like that aspect. But hey, if you like conspiracy theories, by all means.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts. So anyway, what kind of shooting do you like to do? Do you do IDPA or 3-gun or?
Well, nothing yet. I don't really have
just recreational.
Recreational, going out of the house. I would like to get more into defensive shooting. Mm-hmm. Taking these tactical defensive courses. I know they're an arm and a leg, and I would never ask for a handout for like a free class or anything like that, or a discount.
Sure.
So until I have the money to actually do that, there's a lot of guns I want, but at this point, I'm not going to keep buying guns if I can.
Do you know how many guns you should have? Just one more.
Just one, of course, always, right? No, but truthfully, I'm not going to keep adding all this hardware onto my AR or buying a bunch of guns and then be tactical instead of being tactical. I would rather spend the $500, $600, $700, $800 for a scope that I want, and get a $100 scope and then use the rest of the money to take a course.
Sure.
So until I get a little more money. So
there's an old saying from the cowboy world. It is be careful of the man who owns one gun because he knows how to use it.
Yeah.
So that's that's cool. I mean, you've got a rifle, a shotgun, and a handgun. All your bases are covered, which is cool. This is an interesting question, family question, whatever. How does your wife take all the shooting stuff?
When I first started off getting into firearms, my wife was like a lot of the Orthodox Jews out there. She wasn't against guns, she just didn't want to have them in the house.
Right.
As time progressed, she let me have one, and then you get gun fever, so I had to get my shotgun, I had to get my AR-15, and before you knew it, she understood that I have 3 guns now and I have kids. And then also what happened is I started writing my book. Mm-hmm. And the whole time my wife was supportive of my book. Like any good wife, she here's a little more chain, trying.
Right.
But then she saw that my book was actually becoming something, and that a real deal, and she saw me getting it illustrated, and she saw things actually happening. So once she saw that, she became a little more accepting. Now, since the book came out, and she's actually seen what my book can accomplish by helping educate children on gun safety, because I have 3 kids, and my wife sees it with my oldest.
Yeah.
How he comes home from summer camp one day, and he said to me, he goes, "Hey, Dad, I went laser tagging today, and why was I the only kid walking around with his finger off the trigger? And
Nice.
granted, it's laser tagging, but my wife saw the idea behind my book.
Yeah.
Now it's great. Now, I mean, I joke with my wife, like, how I don't want to say how hard it is, but we'll be at a table and someone will say like, well, I'm not a gun owner, so why should I buy your book? And my wife goes into complete defense mode.
Love that.
And starts
That's
going
great.
off on not going off on the person, but like absolutely saying like, well, what happens if you're at a park and your kid finds a gun somewhere it's not supposed to be? Do you trust your kid to do the right thing, or do you think they're going to pick up the gun? And like,
Right.
it's a valid point, but my wife now echoes what I've tried to,
That's great.
how I try to educating her. What are we going to do with our kids if they find it?
Mm-hmm.
And now my wife goes all like crazy on any company we have and defending her husband's honor, and
Nice.
it's pretty awesome. So
That is great.
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Teaching kids how to be safe with guns. I didn't realize it until after I was a gun guy, and I did what I called Nerf gun safety with my kids.
Yes.
It's not just important it's important for my kids because dad's got guns in the house, and dad's a gun guy, and dad takes them shooting and everything. But it's important for when my kids go to someone else's house,
Yeah.
because that dad may not keep his guns locked up, or that my kid's friend might know that their dad has a gun and they know how to find it, and they have access to it, and their kids don't. My kids' friends don't know how to be safe with a gun, and then they do something foolish and accidentally shoot my kids.
No, for sure, and that's 100% true.
Yeah, and that's a big concern, because I had a moment a couple years ago when my daughter was telling me she was at her mom's house, and her mom's boyfriend put up one of his hunting rifles on the table, and my daughter pointed the muzzle and she said, "Hey, keep the muzzle end away from me." I'm like, awesome, good deal. All that 8 years of hammering home gun stuff.
You make it right.
All right, 8 years of hammering home gun stuff with my daughter, pays off.
I trust my kids in my home, and I trust my kids in other people's home.
Right.
And it's a possibility that,
You don't trust someone else's kids.
right. But it's not even that. It's, what happens if my son or my daughter goes to somebody else's house whose parents are gun owners, and in a lapse of judgment, they leave an unsecured firearm somewhere it's not supposed to be.
Right. Exactly.
And it's very important that my children... Yeah, it's very important. It's very important that my children
that
know
your
what
kids
to
know how
do.
to be absolutely. So do you have any other books in the works?
I do.
You have a couple of other books before this.
Well, I have this one. No, I have this one, and I have the coloring book.
Yeah.
I used to write for a couple news websites, so I have a lot of. You can find tons of writings.
Cool.
But I have 2 more books in the works. One I'm hoping to be out by December 1st in time for Christmas. That one is actually not gun related.
Mm-hmm.
It brings me back to my roots of politics. I am not at liberty to discuss it because it's totally amazing, and I really don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet.
Right.
But I will definitely give you a heads up.
Awesome.
And then I have another one that is gun related for kids, hopefully February, March time.
Dude, that's great.
Yeah.
You're killing it, man.
Yeah, and then I'm actually I started writing a 5th book, which is actually also kids book on gun rights. Kids book on, not gun rights, but a kids book on guns.
Mm-hmm.
And that one I'm hoping to be out by Christmas of 2018.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. I have to tell you, like we were talking about before, is I'm all new into the gun stuff. I've been a gun instructor for 10 years, and the idea for writing Shotgun with Charlie and doing the gun grams is like, all of a sudden you're cool, and people like what you do and they appreciate it, and you're like, hey, you have a different message and you're doing something else, and it's really cool. And you've obviously got got your take on it. Not that it's your take, but you've got your story, and you share it with your people, and that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's way
Appreciate
cool.
it.
Way cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, we just spent some time driving around Dallas, Texas, with none other than the author of the book Safety On, Yehuda Remer. Yehuda, how do people find your stuff?
Go to Amazon.com. That's where my books are being sold right now. Or if you want to find out more about me, go to YehudaRemer.com.
Awesome, you guys. Yehuda's been great. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have you, sir.
Pleasure.
Congratulations
Thank you for
on the
having me.
success of your book.
Thank you very much.
And feeling like a rock star here at the GRPC.
Just kind of a little bit.
It's the best.
It is. It's pretty awesome.
I got to go back to my regular job, and it's not the best. Anyway, that's okay. Listen, we'll see you guys next time. Check out Riding Shotgun with Charlie on all of the YouTube and Facebook and all that stuff, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.